Hello friends, what's going on? Welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I do hope you lot are all doing well. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I see what's being said about the Blues, giving you my opinion on it, and of course, more importantly, asking for yours. And there's many a thing to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. So many things. Kai Havertz scoring again for Germany. Dortmund reportedly happy to pay a fee for Hakim Ziyech. Oh, what else have we got here? Jules Kounde's recently spoken about how his failed move to Chelsea broke down. Will he join? A Pulisic sale has been sanctioned by Thomas Tuchel. He's happy for him to go in January, if we are to believe Spanish media reports that are reporting this. Oh my giddy aunt. And Aurelien Tchouameni, that's right, the Monaco midfielder, the Frenchman that everybody likes. Chelsea reportedly still very interested. So settle in, stay to the end, boys and girls. We got a long and good video to get through that hopefully you guys are stimulated by in all the right ways. And I just urge you guys now to drop a like if you want to show your support on the channel here, Football Therapy. And of course, you're all welcome to subscribe. And the newcomers, new subs, and people who are already subscribed, do make sure that all important bell notifications icon is switched on so you get notified. Let's start off with goals. Kai Havertz scoring for Germany. He's got, I think, 5 goal involvements in like 7 or 8 games, looking pretty good for country. Lovely little finish, ghosting into the 6-yard box, lovely little touch, opening the scoring for the German national team. Great. A great forward for them. They're relying on him a lot. Hansi Flick, who of course, by the way, has an amazing array of talent in his German roster, yet he's turning to Kai Havertz knowing that this guy is a big boy. This guy has incredible amounts of talent, but he will know that from managing Bayern Munich and having a look at Bayer Leverkusen when Kai Havertz was absolutely ripping it up in terms of productivity, goals and assists, etc. He'll know his quality. Therefore, he's selecting him for Germany all the time, and he's producing. Good news for Chelsea, while both Timo Werner and Romelu Lukaku are looking to come back onto the pitch, essentially. Thomas Tuchel will look at that saying, right, well, he's remembering to score goals, that's good. He is getting the odd goal for Chelsea. Probably not enough if he's going to play down the middle and play that role as striker. The striker, if we're going to change how we play slightly to sort of play through a middleman a little bit more, generally adapt our Chelsea ethos to get the best out of Romelu Lukaku when Romelu Lukaku is not playing, and if indeed it's Kai Havertz in that role, he needs to score some goals. You know, it's all very well being a link man and stuff like that, and it's all very well having Chelsea wingbacks that can score loads of goals, but we need that from Kai Havertz. Personally, my preference isn't to have him as a centre forward, it's to have him sort of cruising around, linking up a little bit more, floating around and doing what he does best, you know, looking like a Rolls Royce all over the gaff, rather than just hunting in the 18-yard box, which, by the way, he can do. He loves a header, he loves a one-touch finish, fine, but I just don't think you're getting the most out of Kai Havertz. So that's my thoughts on him, but I'm very, very pleased to see he scored again for Germany. Let's move on to the next part of the video. Let's talk about Jules Kounde, because he's recently come out in the media and talked about his failed move to Chelsea, as in, like, you know, this is common knowledge, I was going to Chelsea, I'd agreed. Not only that, when the move broke down, I think he failed to report to the Sevilla team for a couple of games or something. I don't know if he was, like, you know, like, going on strike, but certainly he was very upset. He got like a red card pretty early doors for France as well when he's playing for them, and he's clearly unsettled. And the fact that he's speaking about the move to Chelsea, the failed move to Chelsea, and how that's affected him mentally negatively, that of course he's sort of insinuating that he's recovered from now and he's getting on with it. But him coming out and saying that, it's saying, yeah, I wanted to go to Chelsea, the deal was done, and then it wasn't. Kind of infers that this deal will get done and Jules Kounde is back on the menu, or indeed never left the menu. Chelsea just didn't want to get taken for a ride by the selling club, who said one price, and then when Chelsea sold Zuma, or was about to sell Zuma, they probably thought they had Chelsea's gonads in a vice, to be descriptive and graphic, and Chelsea were like, no, we're not going to be taken for a ride. And fortunately, the emergence of Trevor Chalobah aided Chelsea's stance in that, so they were able to bring in this amazing centre-back and not be, you know, mugged off essentially by the selling club. Though, it does sound like and feel like that Chelsea will still get Jules Kounde. And of course, I don't know, and that's whether or not that's sort of dependent on Antonio Rudiger leaving. I'm not so sure. I think they just want him anyway. Although there have been reports surfacing today that Chelsea are interested in Pau Torres, the La Liga centre-back, the Spanish La Liga centre-back, as a replacement for Antonio Rudiger, should Rudiger go in the summer. But, I mean, every centre-back at this point being linked is going to be a quote-unquote Antonio Rudiger centre-back, replacement, until, of course, he does sign an extension. Have to see what happens there. That's certainly an interesting story. Alright, let's move on to a brief one, a headline, something that I saw, Hakim Ziyech, of course, constantly being linked with a move away from Chelsea Football Club. Dortmund, who are looking for that winger, remember they wanted Callum Hudson-Odoi on loan last summer. It had agreed terms, personal terms with Callum Hudson-Odoi to take him on loan, and of course, like previously reported on this channel, Thomas Tuchel has even spoken about this, like, you know, I blocked it, so it was there, it was good to go. They want that winger. Maybe they will get that talented winger in the shape of Hakim Ziyech. They want someone to play in the void that Jadon Sancho played in. And although different, of course, Jadon Sancho is a little bit more transitional, counter-attacky, breaking at pace than Hakim Ziyech. They can still get that assisting, creative quality on the right flank with Hakim Ziyech, and the reports are suggesting they'd be more than happy to pay the quoted fee from Chelsea Football Club, which is €40 million. Chelsea basically essentially make their money back. I think that's how much they bought Hakim Ziyech for around that. Certainly it was around £35 million, which is about €40 million. Which is really interesting. By the way, at the end of the video, we're going to talk about Aurelien Tchouameni, the Monaco midfielder. So stick around for that. But next up, let's talk about Christian Pulisic. Another winger that's been linked to a move away from Chelsea on the regs, essentially. It's happening again. I believe it's Catalan reports, Spanish reports, suggesting that Thomas Tuchel has sanctioned, given the nod for the sale of Christian Pulisic in as soon as January, if we are to believe certain reports coming from Spain, of course. Big clubs, let's have this right, I've said it before in previous channels and shows and stuff, big clubs will want Christian Pulisic, not just because he's capable of brilliance on the football pitch, which, by the way, he is. I'll cite that time again when, you know, post-lockdown, he was amazing for Frank Lampard. He scored high-profile goals against, you know, Man City. He scored in FA Cup finals. He looks like he can light up the pitch when confident. He scores perfect hat-tricks away from home in the Prem. He's there. It's in him. He's very young, he's very direct and very dynamic. Of course, he has huge injury concerns, but big sides would be interested in him, not just because of the talent, but because of the marketing value. Look at what he's just done again for the US men's national team, scoring the opener against Mexico, you know, with the celebration, man in the mirror, like, iconic on the shirt. You know, he's scoring decisive penalties for his country. He is Captain America, and he's, 23 years old? The amount of branding, like, revenue, the amount of, like, shirt sales and just media attention and fan attention you have on your club if Christian Pulisic plays for you. Certainly Dortmund felt the positivity of that. That only increased when he went to Chelsea. And of course, he's won the Champions League with Chelsea, and he won the Nations League of the US men's national team. So he's lifted 2 amazing trophies in 1 year. His stock, his brand is higher than ever, and big clubs would recognise that. And so maybe, like, you know, clubs like La Liga clubs like Real Madrid and Barcelona, who are in financial disarray, they'll see that as a huge marketing opportunity to bring the American fan base back to, like, El Clasico, which of course has diminished since the departures of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Bringing someone like that back would bring an American audience back to El Clasico. This is just me speculating to a degree here, but maybe because these reports are coming out from Spain, that's where the noise is coming from. You could probably make the links yourself. Interesting though, indeed. I'll be keen to get people's thoughts on Christian Pulisic. I mean, would it surprise anyone if, just say in 2 years' time, neither Christian Pulisic or Hakim Ziyech remain at Chelsea? Probably wouldn't surprise anyone. especially if we're just going to look for that guaranteed productivity. I'm not saying I want either of them to go. I love both those players for different reasons and respect them both for having immense quality. But the game is the game, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to keep a close eye on what happens there. Make sure, of course, keep it locked to this channel, Football Therapy, with that bell notifications icon turned on after you subscribe to find out. Now let's talk about Aurelien Tchouameni. Thank you for being impressed by my correct pronunciation. The Monaco midfielder. Chelsea have long been linked with a new CM. Of course, heavily linked with Declan Rice, who is just getting better and better and better. Last summer they wanted 100 mil. He's gone from strength to strength for both England and West Ham. He scores goals, he dribbles, he progresses, he tackles, he can play at centre-back, he can play at CDM, he can play at central midfield. He's a leader, he wears the captain's armband. His stock, his price would be very high, and I'd probably put like the farm on Declan Rice ending up at either Man City, Man United or Chelsea. It's just, he won't go anywhere. The level won't be any lower than that at the top. I know we can all joke about Man United's level now, but in terms of club prestige and pay package, it will be the very, very top. Aurelien Tchouameni, I've been informed that Petr Cech is a big fan of him, and Petr Cech was a big fan of Edouard Mendy from Rennes, and look how well that turned out. Absolutely incredible. Not just because of how good Mendy was, but the steal as well. Like, people saw him as a good keeper in Ligue 1, but like no one expected how good he. And to be fair, he's got better at Chelsea as well. One incredible buy from the French league. Could we expect perhaps Tchouameni to be the same, similar? I mean, his profile is undoubtedly higher at the moment than Edouard Mendy's was when we bought him, because I think Tchouameni's starting in the France midfield next to Paul Pogba at the moment. Granted, probably in N'Golo Kante's absence, maybe, but, you know, his FIFA card is great. He's got an informed FIFA card. Everyone knows about Tchouameni, do you know what I mean? So there were the two. Do we need another midfielder? That's the question, though. Conor Gallagher, he's the talk of the month, the talk of the season so far. Just obviously got his England call up. We're hoping he plays this evening. At time of recording, it's daytime on the day Chelsea play San Marino. People are thinking, yeah, this dude's ready to go into the midfield. There's a sort of speculation that perhaps Jorginho might go. Maybe if Chelsea win the Premier League, he thinks, I've won the Premier League, I've won the Champions League, I've won the Euros, all at my time at Chelsea. I'm a bit of a legend in Italy, I want to go back to Italy. That wouldn't surprise anyone at all. Kante's obviously a little bit older now. I think Kovacic should and will stay just because he's getting better, I think, Kovacic. But Gallagher, Gilmour, you know, amazing players. Would be disappointed. Perhaps Gallagher plays in the front three as one of these inside tens if Thomas Tuchel stays at Chelsea and we keep this formation. Possibly. But you want Gallagher to come back. Although he did play a double six in that midfield in pre-season. Whether he'd stay there in an actual Chelsea season, I'm not so sure. I think perhaps he'd play closer to goal in one of those 10 positions. But Chelsea's still being linked with that central midfielder, and, you know, Tchouameni would be a massive signing. Very, very talented player indeed, and apparently Chelsea are making inquiries, and Petr Cech is an admirer of the player. Guys, let me know what you think. If you've enjoyed this content I've brought for you today with the information I've got, please do drop a like, it means a lot. Consider subscribing if you're new to the channel, and if you do choose to do so, hit the bell notifications icon. And guys, to all of you who are already subscribed, thank you, of course. I appreciate your support, but I'd urge you guys to check as well if that bell notifications icon is switched on for all notifications on this channel. Make sure you do have it on so you guys don't miss out on content, because I know a lot of you have been missing the content from not getting notified, and a lot of you felt frustrated by that. So we can hopefully remedy this by making sure all notifications are turned on. I've rambled on for too long. Guys, enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.